Hello and welcome to the Impending Doom podcast. We're your hosts, and that's why Frisbee should be delegalized.
Delegalized?
I had a problem with that word.
You had a problem getting that word
Shut
out.
up!
I think you had a problem coming up with it because that was unscripted.
We just had hello and welcome to the Impending Doom podcast. We're your hosts, and that's why
I'm not going to lie, the fact that you wrote the opening line there majorly concerned me because I didn't believe in your ability to come up with something on the spot.
Oh, and you were so right.
I thought you were going to say wrong there, and I was getting ready to interrupt you. You pulled a curveball on me there.
My first topic.
We've highlighted the first topic.
I begin. The topic is Sam slept late because working with Americans. That is awful grammar.
Shut up, mate. You weren't writing the list. You literally said, "I'm paying you too much to sit in there."
I said I'm not paying you to sit there.
Oh yeah,
which technically is correct.
Yes.
So I'm running on like 6 hours sleep. 8 hours sleep, which sounds like a reasonable amount of sleep.
You slept at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I slept from 6 until 2, because I was doing a voice acting project, the one that I might have previously mentioned. With Americans, y'all. Howdy, Rudy Tooty, point and shooty. I said aubergine at one point, and they got really confused.
Aubergine.
It's Americans call it eggplant.
No, we call it aubergine. That's why they're confused.
Okay, point is, they didn't believe me that that's what we called it.
Oh.
But,
have you come up with the zucchini courgette debate yet? Because that's going to be another cracker.
The hell is a zucchini?
Zucchini is what Americans call courgettes.
Okay, I don't even care enough about courgettes.
And as well, when they cut zucchini into circles, they call it zircles.
Ugh. It's like Zuma.
I've had them, but because we don't say zucchini, we just say courgette zircles.
Fantastic. Anyway, so yeah, I stayed up until 6 in the morning. Well, I think it was like 5:40, and I had to bring all my stuff.
I only stayed up to a casual 3 o'clock because I wasn't doing work. Do you wanna?
You wanna interrupt me again, punk?
That is a terrifying stare.
I'm not paying you to interrupt me.
Like you weren't paying me to write the list. Alright, more interruptions then.
Oh no.
Alright, but let's talk about the Americans.
I will. They're really nice, all of them. It's really weird.
But they're Americans.
Don't say that. They're really nice. Like it's actually quite shocking how friendly they all are. Like I hopped in the call. My headset didn't work, so I couldn't hear like the one guy that was also in the call at that point. He sat there for like 10 minutes while like listening to me ramble while I tried to fix my laptop. And then eventually I got it working, and I was like, "Wait!" And he was like, "Wait."
Sounds like you had a blast.
Thanks, Derek, for being so patient. If you're hearing this,
What point did you start working with them on it?
What, today? Yesterday.
Last night.
Last night, she said. Anyway,
good riff.
It is a good riff. I think it was around 1-ish.
So you had like 5 hours of this.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
We were like reading through the script, although for the first 2 hours it was mostly just like getting to know them and kind of messing around a bit. Is it
like kind of when the actors sit around a table and read? Yeah. But online.
Yeah. What was crazy is this one guy called David, and he plays the role of a character called Chad. And he is an ultra Chad. He's like broken most bones of his body.
I didn't think anyone could be more of a Chad than you.
Thanks. I've never broken a bone. He's broken every bone in his body. He used to be part of like a professional fight club.
I would have said that I never broken a bone, but you told me like a few days ago, no, more than that I think. That,
like a couple of weeks ago, that everyone breaks their toe bone. Because when you stub your toe, it breaks it.
I hit my toe, and now it's got a big bruise on it, and I think I might have broken some bones there.
Yeah, fun fact, you've probably broken your toe bone or your little toe if you've ever stubbed your toe on your little toe. It's just that the bone...
it wasn't my little one, it was like second to little.
Whatever, close enough. Because the bones are just so small, and it's such like a pathetic break that your body just kind of... Obviously it hurts a lot, but your body doesn't really notice it because you don't really use those toes very much. It's like you only need like your fat toe to
I hit my foot at Daisy's party a while ago, and it was excruciating, but that was with the effect of alcohol, so I hadn't even felt the full pain. When I woke up in the morning and saw my foot, about half it was blue.
Oh my god. Maybe you can do that again at Daisy's next party.
For about 2 days. I doubt that.
But yeah, I was working with the Americans. I'm going to continue my one. I was working with the Americans, and they're all really nice, and there was like loads of them. And it was crazy. They were all really nice, and they kept making fun of me, but in a nice,
seems like
contradicting
statements.
No, but it was just for being British.
Oh, well, that's alright.
That's alright. Casual.
I mean, we make fun of the Americans, so, you know, and you know, also all the other countries.
We own most of them.
Well,
we own the
used
US.
to. Again, we used to. There was a war about that one.
They asked me what the English children got taught in history about the American Revolution, but of course we don't get taught about the American Revolution.
Did you say no one gives a shit about the American Revolution in England?
Well, I just said we don't learn about it. Like
we celebrate it as the day we got rid of those bastards.
Anyway, point is, I work with them. They're very lovely people. They might be watching this.
You stayed up way too late.
I stayed up way too late.
Woke up at 2 p.m.
I'm very tired.
I've woken up that late without staying up at 6 p.m. I slept at like 3 o'clock because of my terrible sleep schedule, but we can talk about that later. Right now, I think is a good time to segue into our main topic.
Is it?
Yes, because
it's our second topic. Yeah, I see how
the
it
second
works.
one.
We've got the formula. Really?
Ooh!
I thought you were gonna talk about that one, but we'll talk about that one later because that was kind of like nighttime.
We can loop back to it.
We can loop back.
So, what's the main topic, Sam?
I think so. This is my topic, and
Yeah.
I was in the debating. For a bit of context, I was in the debating society.
We were both in the debating society.
We were.
We had badges that said debating society.
Yeah, and then
it was the same style of badge that said school council. And one time, the head teacher came to me and was like, "Make sure to dress properly. You're wearing an important badge." And I was like, "Debating society." And then he like winced and looked at it and was like, "Yes." He had to stick to his guns.
Oh man, I wrote Ginger Jack stole my debating society badge and never gave it back.
Why would he want that?
Prestige. But so yeah, in year 9, me and you were both in the school's debating society.
Yeah, because we like arguing.
Yeah, and
we were better at it than most people.
No, we don't.
Fuck off. And that's the story of how we got kicked out of the debating society.
Yeah.
We didn't.
There was only 3 injuries, but the issue is it wouldn't matter how good you were at debating because it would be like a really controversial topic, and like should the wage gap exist, and then it's got a very obvious like answer. Obviously, we phrase a bit better than that, and have a really obvious answer.
Should we oppress the gays? And it'll be like you're on the title 4. Like, they picked a side.
Yeah, they picked for you,
and it's like, oh, good. So let me just look up.
If you got the
top
bad side,
10 reasons for homophobia.
If you got the bad side, you were just screwed. I think the closest one we ever had, which was actually a tie, was should Uranus be a planet? Oh no, should Pluto be a planet? Sorry, I have Uranus on the brain.
Did you set that up?
Maybe. Should Pluto be a planet? Because obviously, factually...
That was actually the most controversial one.
Factually,
there was proper arguments about
it shouldn't be a planet, but everyone feels so strongly about Pluto being a planet.
Everyone was like, it's not in the spirit of planets to delegate Pluto. I like Pluto.
And then people would be like, it's not in the spirit of fun to not let it be a planet.
They'd be like, NASA said it's not. NASA said it's my turn on Pluto. And that was a fierce debate.
But
there was the animal cruelty one. I was on the kind of
animal cruelty side.
It was about animal testing, and it was like, should we be pro animal testing basically? And I was on the pro side, and kind of ended up convincing myself to an extent, because what it didn't specify is what the animal testing was for. So if the animal testing is to save the lives of more humans, then the answer is obviously yes. And they failed to evolve about the specifics, and basically were just like, no.
They're testing on them for perfume.
Obviously that's bad, but they didn't say that. They were just like, nope, it's wrong in all circumstances, and made my side look better. Still lost, but you know, it was a good effort.
And that sort of segues into the main topic, or well, the focus of this main topic, which is that having a classroom debating society or any kind of debating clubs are pretty much useless because you're never going to change anyone's mind. If it's like a topic that people actually feel strongly about, they're not going to change their mind. They've got a strong opinion.
But this is the thing. The ironic purpose of debates is not to change the mind of the person you're debating against, it's to change the mind of the people who are listening to the debate and who were indifferent and now might pick a side.
Yeah, I disagree with that. And here's why.
Well, I'm not looking to change your mind about it, Sam.
If you agree with me, like this video. If you agree with Harry, comment.
If you give me dislike this video, fucking trash it.
Unsubscribe.
But I mean, I think, you know, there might be a certain value to classroom debates, but the problem we really had was the issues that were chosen.
It was always so one-sided.
It was usually something one-sided.
It would be like, is feminism good or bad?
There was the kind of there was one about the death penalty. It's like, should we bring back the death penalty? There's also
it's like a classroom like 15-year-olds.
Yeah, also
like 14-year-olds actually.
Should there be like strict gun control? And I think it's pretty unanimous in the UK that people think that we shouldn't have the death penalty and that we should have gun control, especially if it's in like a class of kids,
like 14-year-olds.
Exactly, it was like year 9 really. So if you had to debate for that, you just end up citing all the statistics. I think I had to argue that we should bring the death penalty back. And I've
argued that to this day.
I used some very twisted but technically accurate statistics that suggested that most people wanted it back, which was the case where they asked people, do you think the death penalty is appropriate in this situation, for this person? And at one point, like, most people said yes to, like, you know, some crime.
Like, here we are!
Some person, which I used to justify that
everyone
the majority of the
die.
country wants it backed permanently for loads of things. You know, which was fun. And technically true. But I did not convince myself nor the people listening.
Also, I feel like the debating, like school debating clubs, are more caught up on like the semantics of being accurate with like the format.
Oh my god, it was so obsessed
rather
with
than
that.
like the actual debate itself.
There was all these like terms, and you have to. If someone's speaking, you have to say point of information, and they can either deny it or accept it. And if they accept it, then someone will interrupt you with a really stupid point, and you're just kind of lost for words because you can't comment on how stupid it is.
It'll be like, because obviously the opposition is trying to think of something to throw you off, to throw you off your rhythm.
Remember Alex used to have some stupid ones. He was a smart guy, but his point of information's a real dumb. I think maybe it was done on purpose. I'll just be like, what?
He's trying to throw you off your rhythm.
There's this really funny, I think it's Christopher Hitchens' video, where this like woman asks him a question. He goes, oh right, I see. What an incredibly stupid question. It's like, nice. I should have just responded with that. But you can deny the point of information, but they just lean back in their chair with a smug face like, oh, look who hasn't got the answers. You know.
Or if like one person kept asking them and you kept denying it, then the teacher that was running it would be like, see now, because they're not accepting it, it seems like they don't have anything to say in response.
So alright, I don't need you adding your 2 cents there, teacher. I'm already doing badly enough because of Alex and his bloody point of informations. You had to because we were so obsessed with using the right terminology, you had to use it even when it was really limiting your argument. It'd be like, and I'd like to rebut the point that someone else has just made now, and you look over the teacher and they're like, thumbs up, and you're like, obviously you're supposed to respond to the points. But then, you know, it's difficult to incorporate that with a planned out argument, so
I feel like
it was a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the point of debating societies is kind of like a training ground for kind of like school council, or like it must be surely at some point.
School council is absolute bollocks.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is with all these,
I stumbled into a school council meeting once. Had an awkward meeting with Mr. Mariosa, who I think I can dox him like that, and that's all right.
No, it's teachers. They literally live by their surnames.
And I just signed off with oh, okay, like, I wasn't sure if I was meant to be there or not, because I wasn't sure if it was like a prefect thing or a school council thing. Mm-hmm. No, I just went, oh, okay, have fun not making decisions. And then I left the room, and apparently he went like, strange kid, after I left.
I'm pretty sure most teachers' reaction to you is strange kid.
Most people's reaction to me, really. I just walk by people in the street and they go, strange kid. And that's when it's not the police and they arrest me.
Oh, I forgot to say, this episode is sponsored by Glass. If you have a wall that you want see-through, try glass.
Or plastic, but glass is better.
Sponsored by Glass, Harry. Not plastic.
Other
plastics, other wall things are available unless you're using glass.
But not other glasses available.
Not other glasses.
Glass is just...
Glass.
Glass?
Glass.
You got some glass there, I see.
Yes, of course. Now, I'm not just recommending Glass because I'm being sponsored by Glass. I personally use Glass in my everyday life. I like the app before
there's a glass around here somewhere. I was drinking water.
It's like down there. Anyway, back to the main topic now that we've plugged Glass.
Well, I think we should maybe move on from the pointlessness of classroom debates.
I have an actual topic that isn't on the list.
Oh, that's great! Wow, you're learning from me.
Our good friend Jamie,
I know the one.
His mum and dad, Kev and Wendy. There we go. said
There you
their first names without saying their last names.
That's incredible. For a moment, I thought you said Kevin Wendy, and I was like, "Oh, you doxed him."
Their surname is Wendy.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Jamie Wendy. That's a weird surname. It's a cool first name though.
It's just gone dark in here.
It's because the monitors went off.
Yeah,
I know loads of people whose first name is Wendy, but I don't know a single person whose last name is Wendy.
I don't know anyone whose first name is Wendy except Jamie's
Jamie's
mother
mum,
and
Johnny's
the
mum.
chain of restaurants Wendy's.
And Johnny's mum.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
I wouldn't say that I really know her personally.
They said
you know,
they said that they would sponsor us. So throw out glass. Who needs that sponsor? This episode is sponsored by Jamie's parents.
That's an elite sponsorship.
I don't know what like
I'd
offers.
like to see. I'd like to see like TV channels get that.
I'm pretty sure it's like we're sponsored by their cookies or something.
Nice.
So if you want to head down to any good local retailer and purchase some of Jamie's parents' cookies,
They won't have them.
go right ahead.
But you can wish that they did.
You can wish they're actually really good.
Because I've tried some. I'm pretty sure.
Also, I went round Jamie's house and they had brownies once.
Oh my god! It's
It
like
was
some
so-
kind of it's like a house on sale or something. They've
It's
got,
like-
the smell of cookies and brownies.
It's like in like one of those American like sitcoms where there's always that really nice family who's like, "Do you want some cookies?" You know what I'm talking about? It's like too good to be true.
You think that they're lying and they're actually evil.
Maybe they have a secret underground cookie smuggling business.
Ring. Ring. So you got a bit off target from the sponsorship here. I feel
Anyway,
like,
yes, sponsored by Jamie's parents' cookies. Pick some up today.
When you were talking about working with the Americans, we were going to talk about my open quote party, close quote, but we went on to the main topic first. So we'll talk about that now. Right now, we should both be at a party that I was going to have.
We should. We would have started an hour and 52 minutes ago.
I mean, that's very accurate. We would have recorded this earlier in the day, but it was last night.
Last night, she
It's
said...
usually what I do, but I wasn't doing it because we were on the podcast. No. Immediately, obviously, a bunch of people bailed, which is to be expected.
That's fair.
It's
A
kind
couple
of like, I can't go.
bailers is
You
always
kind
to
of
be
you
expected.
invite loads of people because you expect about half of them to immediately say, "Oh, sorry, I can't do it.
Usually I invite a
I've got
bunch
to
of
go to my granddad's barbecue."
I love that. That's actually one that
I think that was one. That's why I've come up with it.
There are times when I invite loads of people out of courtesy and I'm like, oh god, I hope some of these people will cancel just so I have enough room.
Yeah, and so then kind of more and more people cancelled as it went on. It got to the point where like 3 cancelled in one day, but it still would have been enough. And then the rest
Because it was still like 20 people.
yeah, the rest of the people were just like, "Oh, it's dead now. I don't want to go." And it's like, what? Some logic is that, you know, if maybe people weren't just bailing because of the snowball bailing effect, which is a technical term.
It's like the bystander effect. No one bothers to say that they're going because they assume that everyone else is going, and so they just won't say anything. But then because no one's saying that they're going, well, suddenly they're like, "Oh, nobody's going."
And I kind of felt annoyed about it, so I was like, screw the party, I'm just going to cancel it. Also, at that point, I felt like I'd kind of wished I'd never called it, and I was like, hold on, there's a way to undo this. You know, I did think that there was a possibility that if I left it, then people who are bailed would be like, actually, I'm not doing anything, so I might as well go. But then I was like, they don't deserve it, they bailed. So that's why we're here doing this podcast at 8:54 p.m.
Darius, you were next on the guest list. You've now been moved down.
You've now moved you down, and also you're now on the hit list.
People that we have on the podcast just to bully.
So that's the story of how I'm
Okay.
wearing all new clothes right
Don't
now.
bully kids. What? Oh yeah.
because-
it's strangely
because
ketchup free.
I would have worn these. And also, I washed my hair.
Oh my god.
Crazy. I mean, I did that this morning, so that was
You're no longer
that was
authentic-
after I'd cancelled it.
You're no
actually.
longer an authentic musician because you have clean hair.
I also actually this was another thing I did because it was leading up to it is I shaved, and you might be looking at me going.
Actually, yeah, you did.
You might be looking at me going, he's not really shaved.
Well, no, I'm looking at you going, it's a lot better.
Yeah, I didn't. I used.
You're
to,
not clean shaven.
It was. I went. It was like a close cut. I shaved down, but not fully.
What's your opinion on shaving? Let's just, discuss this just for the people at home that really want to hear the...
My family
topic.
tend to think that any facial hair I have is disgusting. I personally like to have a bit of facial hair, but I really don't like having a lot.
I try to shave every morning.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen you with any facial hair. I think for a long time I just assumed that you were just kind of naturally completely clean
I
shaven.
think the longest I went was like
Especially
a week.
because I've seen your legs and they're completely hairless.
I'll have you know, I cut one of my legs completely free of hair using scissors because I was so bored at an NCS planning meeting.
This is before the NCS planning meeting. We had PE lessons together.
In year
11.
In year 11?
But like,
I did shave my legs once or twice, I'm not gonna lie.
Why did you shave your legs?
I don't know. It was really warm and I was like, maybe this will help, and it didn't. It just made it like...
What?
Like, it's like when you sit on like a plastic seat when you're wearing shorts and like you stick to it.
I would feel insecure about my masculinity if I shaved my legs.
Maybe is that why you don't shave your disgusting facial hair?
I do shave my disgusting facial. It's just been particularly long recently because I went camping and then I came back from camping. I didn't shave it the whole time I was camping. So when I came back, it was like, and then I think maybe I did shave it then, but then I didn't shave it for like a couple weeks. Just because I didn't massively care how it looked, so I was like, yeah, just let it grow long. I don't really mind. Now I shaved it for the party, which didn't happen. But I like this level. I
feel like you're prepared for Daisy's party now.
I think if that did happen, then it would be too long. My facial hair would now be growing back. But no, if I could keep it at this level permanently, that'd be nice. But the shave I think does go slightly shorter.
You just gotta push really hard into your skin with the razor blade. I'm sure nothing could possibly come from that negative.
I'll just if I keep using the thing which cuts it close but not completely away, then that'd be good.
Actually, I've got a topic that a lot of people will be really invested in: the Spider-Man deal between Sony and
actually, I was wrong.
Marvel.
Yeah, no, I found out about the fact that the deal obviously had gone off originally because Disney had asked for a higher cut. And I was very upset, and I saw
Disney's extremely greedy.
I saw the memes about it, and then you said before doing the podcast, like, oh, we can talk about the Spider-Man deal and how it's back on, and I was like, what? It's back on? Tell me about it. No, don't tell me about it. Tell me about it in the podcast.
That's like the classic, the day that we're meeting.
Yeah, save it for the podcast. So how is it back on? What happened?
Well, one of the Americans yesterday, or maybe the day before, I don't know. They put in the Discord chat that we have, like a link to an article. And it's basically like announcing that it's back on, and like they've actually come to an agreement. And I think Tom Holland said something about it as well. Obviously, it's the reason the deal was off because Disney was trying to be extremely greedy, and
who could have imagined
they were trying to
the huge corporation Disney, known for its greediness, trying to extend its greediness.
They were trying to get a 50-50 cut of like profits from a film that Sony entirely paid for. And like they hadn't even like helped at all they did was allow them Spider-Man, like the use of Spider-Man, and this is a similar deal.
When Sony owns Spider-Man as well, all they did was allow them use of the MCU.
This is a similar deal that they originally offered to Sony when around Andrew Garfield's time, when they were trying to get Spider-Man in the MCU then. And Sony like literally just laughed at it and didn't even consider it, and so it was really like disrespectful to go to them now and be like, hey man, look at all these films we've made and how successful they are. You want to give us a 50-50 cut of your films? And so that was why there was a bit of a row. But now they've come to an agreement. I've heard, and
on the grapevine,
people are still.
You may have been pranked.
Well, I think Tom Holland said something about it, but. People were still
I did feel bad for Tom Holland.
Well, yeah, because he was like the best Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he's actually a nice guy.
Yeah, he was Stan Lee's favourite Spider-Man as well. Fun fact.
Before he died.
Well, yeah, before he died. Well, he's not his right now, is he?
It's his favourite in heaven. But I think, to be fair, I do think Tom Holland would have gone on to get other good roles because people individually fanboy over him as an actor so much.
Well, he's also very skilled, and he did play Billy Elliot on Broadway for like most of his young life. So he's definitely a skilled actor.
I've never heard of that, but...
Billy Elliot. I don't know if it was Broadway or the West End. I think it was London, actually, because he's British.
He's a very British actor.
He's got a British accent. That's not British, that's like Irish.
You're like, you're Irish, mixed in maybe a little bit of Italian, which is fitting for you, So that's
Let's go on to Harry's awful sleep schedule. I want to hear about this one.
Awful. Yeah, no, last night I slept about 10 past 3, maybe, for the past... a week at least, probably a couple of weeks really. I've been sleeping past 3 a.m. almost every night, maybe up to 4 a.m. Now my sleep schedule was okay before this. It wasn't like, I mean, we've been off for so long that, you know, there's really no...
Off school.
Yeah, there's and obviously we're going into college. Except for the days I was working on Saturday, which I've not even been working for the past 2 weeks because my job...
Unemployed.
My job is kaput.
His job shut down, like the store closed.
Yeah, don't want people to think I got fired.
If you're an employer,
employ me.
Harry's very dedicated to his job and very single. I mean, unemployed.
Available for work.
Harry's available for work.
No, so before that, my sleep schedule wasn't great, but it was just kind of like, you know, sleep at 12 o'clock this day, sleep at 2 o'clock this day, sleep at 12:30. If you've got a bad one, maybe like 3. But
it's like the reverse of a baby. You know how babies sleep at like 12, like midday?
It's been consistently like 3:30 for the past 2 weeks. I've been watching a lot of TV shows. I rewatched like almost all of
is this a
Brooklyn
segue?
Nine-Nine, which I've seen so much. I'm rewatching now Arrested Development, which I love, although the 4th and 5th season, I mean, I've not seen all of the 5th season, which probably says something about how the show went after it got picked up by Netflix.
I watched the first episode of Arrested Development, and there was an incest joke, and I was like, you know what, I don't think the show is for me.
What was the incest joke?
It was the fact that...
George Michael and Maybe. That's not an incest joke, mate. That's incest. That's an incest arc that spans lots of the series.
Yeah, exactly.
The joke is that, well, it's not really. It's just that kind of he has a crush on her and she's his cousin, and there's always that he's always got the kind of slightly awkward like maybe we should kiss again to teach them a lesson. He does kind of grow out of it, I think, but then it kind of happens again in the 4th series for a while.
Yeah, so I didn't watch it mostly because of that.
But like George Michael's, apart from that, he's a really moral character, and so is Michael. That's part of what's so good about it. In the later seasons, not the last 2, Michael and George Michael just start to become slight dicks. But whilst for the first 3 series, there's this sense that they're kind of unfailingly good characters and never get rewarded, and it's not really even played for laughs. It's just a kind of like, it just makes you respect Michael, and when there's no one to respect, it goes a little bit downhill because it's like there's no base.
It's like Rick and Morty. Hate as I said, like I hate the fact I just said that, but it's like how the character of Rick Sanchez is just such a douchebag that like
Rick Sanchez, you know the second name.
the character Rick from Rick and Morty is just such a douchebag that you can't even excuse anything he does. But I've actually been watching Hannibal recently. Hannibal the Cannibal, cousin of Murderer the Murderer.
You messaged me about it because you knew that I watched a show about murderers.
A good quote unquote serial killer, which is Dexter.
Yeah, which I'd watched Dexter, and I've watched all of it except like half of the last season, because when you get halfway through the last season, there's a good chance you'll lose interest.
I was watching it, and I was like, Hannibal's like a chaotic neutral like serial killer here. Is this the show that Harry was talking about? And I like messaged you like, oh man, I'm watching Hannibal. And then you were like, oh man, I keep getting that recommended for me because of Dexter. And I was like, Dexter! That's it. That's the one with the good quote-unquote serial killer. That was show on. Great.
Dexter's brilliant from a lot of it.
Isn't he like he covers rooms in plastic wrap and then kills people?
He coats the entire room in plastic, and then he cuts their like arm or something to get a little bit of blood, puts it in a petri dish, and then, or like a little one. It's more like a
baby's first petri dish.
I guess it's like a kind of little.
The semantics don't matter.
And then he puts it in a case where he has all of the kind of bits of blood from people he's killed.
That's nice.
Collection, and then he chops them up, and then he can just sling the whole room together so there's no blood anywhere, and then he throws it into the sea, which is how he gets the nickname the Bay Harbour Butcher, and. It's it's a very efficient way of killing. I think it may be irresponsible for teaching serial killers how to murder so well. It says to one of them, because he like kills serial killers all the time. He says like, this is how you should kill someone, like the inside of a plastic bag.
But Hannibal, it's a very good show. I really enjoy it, and it's like kind of about the like.
I don't know if I'm bursting your bubble here, but I was scared to watch it because I heard it got cancelled after the 3rd series.
Yeah, there's only 3 series on Netflix. Oh god. Oh no.
Or the 4th one.
It's not gonna get finished.
Yeah, but I think usually, to be fair, if a show gets cancelled, the showrunner's like, well, this is what we were gonna do.
Okay, well I'm emotionally invested now, so that's a bit of an issue. But it's like really gory. Like I really enjoy it, but man, is it gory. Like sometimes. Like there'll be someone who has
that's like the thing though. I started watching that with my mum last night when we were eating like chips and onion rings. Onion rings I'll come back to, and and ketchup as well. And it was almost like this is kind of grim to watch whilst you're eating. And as well, I was just kind of became a bit miserable halfway through, and she was like, I don't think this show is particularly cheering you up. And I was like, that's maybe a good point to make.
Sorry, Harry. It looks like we've hit 30 minutes, and so it's time for the debate zone.
The debate zone. Today's question is technology the opposite of nature?
That question is courtesy of Alcation. I propose the idea that technology is the opposite of nature. This is a formal debate. Please do not interrupt me.
I'm sorry.
I propose the idea that technology is the opposite of nature. Thank you, Alcation, for supplying me with such a great debate.
It's not.
Stop talking when the proposition is talking. The reason I believe this is...
You can't keep it up. You're gonna go, the reason I believe
technology.
This is, in your head you're going, shit, why do I believe this? Technology opposite nature. That doesn't make any sense. But it is.
Please wait for your turn to talk.
It's genuinely a question we got courtesy of Alcation.
Please wait for your turn to talk. Technology is made of metal, and you know what metal is? You know how metal is spelt? METAL. You know, shh. It's not your turn. It's not your turn. Denied.
Fuck you.
You know what letters are in metal? METAL. You know how man is spelt? MAN. That's pretty similar. Therefore, henceforth, it's only logical to assume that metal and man-made are one and the same. Therefore, and obviously man being very unnatural must be the opposite of nature. Therefore, henceforth, ergo, technology is the opposite of nature. To you, the opposition.
Well, I'd like to put
point of information.
Point of information. What, your point of information? I have point of information, your point of information.
Oh, shit.
Denied. I will first rebut to one of your points, which is that when you started saying technology is made of metal, you were clearly going down the route where metal came from, realised that it comes from nature, and changed your argument into something else. Then you came up with the man thing, realised that man is part of nature too, and changed it to man-made. Because that was the only way. You're not proving the opposite of your point is true. I think, perhaps the bigger question here is, what does this question mean?
No, you've got to debate your side of the argument.
Okay, so my side of the argument is that technology is not the opposite of nature.
Point of information.
Accepted.
Why do you think that?
I was clearly about to explain. Why do I think that? The reason that I think that is because computers are made from natural materials we dug up from the earth. At the end of the day, everything is nature.
Point of information.
Accepted.
Or is that just the end of your point?
You may make the point of information.
Okay, point of information. Some metals like platinum are actually from space and from stars and things that actually hit the earth early in its formation. Surely then that's not natural to earth. Surely that's something from space. That's some illegal... Deny. Surely that's some illegal aliens that have broken into our planet. That's not natural. Metals aren't natural, they're from space.
May I respond on several points?
Okay, opposition too.
You use the term illegal aliens, a legal term we used to refer to foreigners. Secondly, halfway through that point, you clearly realised that things from space are also part of nature, and you said natural to Earth to fix your mistake. May I finish my turn here on a rather bold assumption that you don't really believe that technology is the opposite of nature, and you keep accidentally denied for the time being.
Point of information.
Denied for the time being. You keep accidentally proving my point. Point of information accepted.
I disagree with not thinking that nature is unnatural. I don't know what I just said.
So many you disagree with not thinking nature is unnatural. Oh, I can't figure it out. There's way too many negatives.
I just said no. I was right. I just disagreed with nature being natural. Ha! Therefore, ergo, nature is unnatural.
The point you're arguing. What a win!
Allow me to rebut you. I believe that nature is naturalistic in the same way that Bernard Kafka, or Franz Kafka, the author of Metamorphosis, was natural, because it's about someone who turns into a cockroach, and what a cockroach is made of? Meat. And where does meat come from? Space. But yeah, I just didn't like how Hannibal was like, it was very gory and very horrible. Like, there's a bit where someone gets their like cheeks ripped out, and then you can see like jaws.
In terms of goriness, Dexter is also very gory.
I just realised you like made a clicking noise and I said someone got their cheeks ripped out.
I was hoping that you wouldn't notice that.
I was like trying to figure out like what's he saying.
I'd really hope that one had been lost in the mix and no one watching would figure out either. But no, Dexter's got kind of quite a high gore and sex content. So watch out, kids.
Sounds like my kind of
all I'm saying.
I don't like a phrase.
You can never find the mix of those two these days.
Oh no.
Maybe there's another topic that we can move on
like
to.
Onion rings.
Onion rings. We briefly touched on onion rings.
We did?
Yeah, when I said that I was eating chips and onion rings with my mum and watching The Thing.
Okay, so how is this a topic?
Well, I've just been eating loads of onion rings recently. I'd say in the past 2 weeks I've ate kind of a portion of onion rings about 4 times. I also ate some onion rings the day that we were here watching The Thing and playing Monopoly, and everyone kept stealing my onion rings. And also when I had them recently, my mum kept stealing my onion rings. And then yesterday we both got a portion of onion rings to solve the issue. I think people don't realise how much they want onion rings, and then when you eat them they start stealing them suddenly.
I always think I want onion rings, and then I try some, like, oh, these are like so greasy.
I used to not like them that
like
much,
oily.
but I started eating them more because I can't eat chicken and stuff like that, because it's like a vegetarian substitute to an extent.
Onion meat.
It's onion meat. So I've kind of very much got into them, and now I think if you just like dip them in ketchup, which probably disgusts some people. Fuck them.
Aren't you disgusted by the fact I dip pizza in ketchup?
It is wrong. It's already tomato sauce.
And yet it's a different kind of sauce.
Exactly. If you made a pizza, why are you mixing the two? You don't put ketchup on baked beans, not Lenny.
If you made a pizza with ketchup instead of tomato sauce, it would taste disgusting.
So why are you dipping it in?
Because it's not about the If you dip pizza into ketchup, you have the right amount of ketchup. If you made the whole pizza out of ketchup and went, well, it's a tomato sauce, then it would taste disgusting because you have an excess of ketchup.
The point I was making is, if you've already got one type of tomato sauce in there, why are you mixing that with another type of tomato sauce? Never mix 2 types of tomato sauces.
You're the kind of person who has a fruit salad and is like, oh, wow, we've already got one kind of fruit in here.
That is absolute bull. That's a completely different point. Tomato sauces and fruit are not the same thing.
Fruit
point I've been arguing to the
tomato
government for many years. Tomatoes are vegetable. Like, when I used to want ketchup to eat this stuff when I was younger, and I was eating at my like grandparents' house, we'd have beans, and they'd say, "There's already tomato sauce there," and point at the beans, and I didn't have the kind of age or intelligence to explain to them why I thought they were wrong, but I knew that they were. It's a different kind of sauce.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying too, but you're saying it's a different kind of sauce, and therefore that's why you should do it. I'm saying it's a different kind of sauce, and therefore that's why it's wrong. Morally, legally.
You know what my mum does? She has roast dinner with gravy and then puts ketchup in it.
Oh.
She's not like all in the gravy, but like she'll have ketchup on the side, like floating on the gravy.
The thing is, ketchup floating on the gravy. For ketchup, I think is quite good for like potatoes.
And things that are dry that don't have sauce already.
But if you're gonna put gravy on it, you can't also put ketchup on it.
She'll have ketchup with anything. She'll be like, "Do you want ketchup for your like soup?" And I'll be like, "No." It won't be soup, but it'll be like some liquid stew or something. It'll be like something really gross that's like already got sauce.
Obviously, I don't eat bacon anymore, but I always used to think that actually bacon rolls were a very strange thing to put ketchup on. It just never fit in my mind.
It's got like a tangy kind of...
Like, I don't know. I felt like, unlike many meats, bacon just doesn't go well with ketchup, even though it's like a really common thing.
I don't like the burn in like the back of your throat you get when you eat bacon.
What about the burn you get in the back of your throat when you eat pineapple?
That's the pineapple eating you because it's got protein in it. It's got protein digest.
What are you on about, mate?
Do you actually not know this?
No.
Pineapple has an enzyme in it that like digests protein. And so when you eat a pineapple, the reason you get a burn in the back of your throat is because it's like breaking up the cells or the walls or whatever. It's breaking up the protein.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
If I eat enough pineapple, am I gonna die?
If you eat pineapple, I think like the classic like Instagram post that like says that one of the slides on it is when you eat pineapple, pineapple eats you back.
Top facts. Did you know? And it's all randomly highlighted in different colours and misspelled. I love those because they're just so kind of like weird opinions. It'll be something like, did you know you should respect your elders because they've lived a long life and they're very wise?
I get like, oh man, because you know our friend Alberto.
Yeah.
He used to really like Naruto. I don't know if he still does.
Naruto run.
But he might, because
51.
I keep getting recommended Naruto posts on Instagram, and they're exactly like those, but they're about Naruto. They're like, did you know on episode 546, Shusuke or whatever his name is, learned the third hiragana, and now he's making him the most powerful shogun in all of Japan.
I like the ones that, especially that I get, that are kind of like weird Disney quotes or something. They're like, did you know the man that you truly love is the one that makes the commitments? And it's like, what? It's
like a fortune cookie.
The facts aren't right, and the ones that aren't facts aren't facts. I would say about like 50% of them are true in some
I swear,
way.
like a lot of it's not even like going off of you saying it's not even facts. Like on Mother's Day, it'd be like it's Mother's Day, which is a fact, but then it'd be like you should respect your mother, and it's like you probably should.
You should mind your own business. Like it's kind of you can tell they're all run by kind of like Indian companies and stuff as well. Partly because half the text is usually in like Hindu, but then because it's all misspelt and it's got all these weird highlighting,
That's just to grab like people's attention.
But even, a lot of the time, it's like half of one word's highlighted and half of the next one, just like a random point. And it's like, who did this?
Well, bold of you to assume it's from any country, and it's probably just some kind of like robot
created in the void.
Well, it's probably one of, like some like AI that's like been programmed to kind of put these bullshit facts.
Programmed to just find kind of
just like scour
facts on the internet,
just scour
and then
the
post
internet,
it, which is why often it's weird opinion.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably definitely that. So.
I don't think it is definitely that.
Oh man, yeah, but AI overlords, robot overlords. I would trust them to run a
robot overlords.
A
like the bloke that came into the shop, and I was like, "Is that cash or card?" And he was like, "Cash. Don't trust those bloody cards. That's Big Brother trying to control you."
Big Brother.
And I was like,
"It's 8:27 in the Big Brother house."
No, Big Brother, like George Orwell's 1984.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
He ripped off the show.
Oh, how could he? Remember in
totally
1973 when Big Brother first aired?
He ripped off communism from. The USSR ripped it off from him.
Really?
Hey guys, they made communism from Animal Farm.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being serious. No, of course, because it was that Lenin guy, wasn't it? That made communism.
No.
Oh no.
Karl Marx.
Karl Marx.
And
That's
Friedrich Engels famously wrote the Communist Manifesto.
I'm so glad that I'm not taking sociology anymore.
Oh, actually, above the room for the sociology class that we checked out for the taster day was a Marx quote. And I took a picture of it. I took a picture of it and sent it to someone and was like, "This is my kind of college." Get a good Marx quote up there.
I feel like your college would be the kind of college to support a communist revolution.
No. I mean, I was trying to kind of wager a joke there, but then also quite a lot of people have referred to me as the communist guy at some point. So I think maybe I need to nip that.
I feel like that's fitting.
Nip that association in the bud. I'm not a massive communist guy.
You know, I'm a massive
guy.
I'm
a massive Nazi guy.
Oh, Jesus.
That's much worse. You're a massive guy. There you are. Pat.
I'm a massive First World War guy.
Sam, what's your favourite event of the First World War?
I was going to introduce it gently first.
We've got no time for gentleness.
Okay. You may have noticed that favourite events of the Cold War was glaringly absent from the last episode, and that's because we ran out of favourite events of the Cold War.
Let's be honest, the Cold War, it didn't go on for very long. It's very boring.
It's like the longest war ever.
It goes on for like 40 years.
Actually, the 100-Year War went on for 130 years.
Well, that's very misleading, isn't it?
I know.
It's like, what is it, the October Revolution, and it happened in September, or something like that, talking of the Cold War.
But my favourite event from the First World War was this is a classic, I really like the Christmas truce.
Because that is, I mean, did we mention this before when we talked about the First World War? We might have, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, we're revisiting it now. This is remastered.
My favourite moment of the First World War was the song. Because I like how many people died.
Oh my god.
No.
That's for people listening, like, their grandparents might have died in the song.
Actually, me and my sister went on this, we were like very bored, so we just got in the car and we just drove somewhere. And we ended up in this village, I've forgotten what it was called, and we got some chips there, and there was all these signs everywhere saying, like, memorials of the First World War.
Oh,
and I said to her, like, oh, this is probably one of those towns where, like, half the population died in the First World War, and she was like, yeah, probably. You know, you do get those around England, don't you?
Yeah, just like, well, a lot of, like, the small towns, just, like, they're like ghost towns. Like, the town where my mum grew up, I'm gonna dox it because no one lives there.
It's a town.
It's a town.
Can you dox
it's
a
like
town?
Oldfield or something. It's something like Oldfield, something like that. It's a ghost town. It was like some kind of like fake. Not fake.
Top 10 ghost towns.
No, but it was like so empty. Like my mum was like, "Oh, we're in the area. Let's have a look through." And so we were driving through, and there was no one around. Like no one in the streets, no one in the houses, no movement. It was absolutely terrifying. And we found this one convenience store that was open, and there's this one lady that like lived there that was like my mum's age, and we went in and we were like, there's not really many people, are there? And she was like, no, not really. And it was just so like surreal. It was so like odd. We didn't see a single other person.
You drive around town, and everyone comes out of the house and goes, we got her.
And then we went to the pub, and there was like 3 people in there, like total, and it was like so empty. Like everything was so empty. It was terrifying.
That's so weird. I'm not sure it's because everyone died in the war.
It's probably just because everyone moved out because it's such a
long time ago.
Well, it's probably because it was like a dead end kind of town where just nothing happened. Like even when my mum was younger, they had to like go out of town to go to like the shops and stuff. So
go to the shops.
Yeah, it was probably such like a dead end like town that everyone moved out. All the old people that like lived there and had like their residential homes. It
was just all like retired old people.
Yeah,
and they all died.
Yeah, they all died, and then the young people all moved away. So that's probably what happened. But it's just so terrifying. It's like just so like empty.
What's this town called again?
Oldfield or something like that.
Massive advert for Oldfield.
Yeah, go to. I mean, honestly, with how
I was being sarcastic with the thing, but if you want to go to a ghost town,
with how the housing market is nowadays, it's probably cheap housing.
Go to this rural location. It's definitely going to be cheap.
Yeah,
because rural housing is always
no one lives
cheap.
there. There's so much supply and no demand. No one wants to live there.
Yeah, sounds like a great place to live. I mean, if you actually look at house prices in like Liverpool, for example,
I think it's Oldfield. If I'm wrong, then whatever. If you want to go somewhere I've been as the famous personality I am, you can go to Oldfield.
I mean, obviously, it's been on the south coast. When I look at like the house prices in like Liverpool, it's like crazy, like cheap. It's like, whoa, you can get a house for this much. You can like rent a house and not die and have to share it with like 16 people, and you know your bedroom is 6 people.
I'm trying to remember where it is. I don't know if it's Bognor Regis. It might be Bognor Regis.
It's in that Bognor region.
I don't know if it's Bognor Regis or somewhere else. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere else. I can quickly check while talking. But Jazz, she went there with her family, and I can't be bothered. And I assume it's Bognor Regis. It's probably not Bognor Regis. It's Dartmouth. Dartmouth. That's it. It's Dartmouth. I knew it was someone with a dumb name.
It's so easy to mix up Bognor Regis and Dartmouth. The similarity of them is amazing.
But it was like the average house price is like £1 million in some areas, and it's like everywhere's so expensive, and it's all like on hills, and the houses are like built like slightly at an angle because they're all on hills.
Well, I mean, when the entirety of Britain floods from the climate crisis, they're going to be laughing then.
I mean, yeah, but what if there's like an earthquake and then the ground starts shaking, the houses start like falling over?
Have you not seen the episode of Peppa Pig where? Because they all live on hills, the town floods, and therefore they just become an island in a big ocean, and they have to sail about to get food.
And they have to stay alive, and they cannibalise Daddy Pig.
I mean, Daddy Pig is a greedy bastard.
He's so large. What's Daddy Pig's like diet plan? He needs to get one.
He's the one that always buys like chocolate cake.
Yeah, the kids.
Have you ever seen the show? Can I just point out I have younger siblings?
I don't. Those snot-faced kids always do some like bad thing. And
Peppa is such an annoying little brat.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. It's a brat. And
like, she's like, ooh, George, get out of the way. And it's like, fuck you,
honestly,
Peppa.
George is also like equally badly behaved. But so they act.
But he's mostly just the victim of Peppa's war
Also,
crimes.
he's like 3.
Yeah.
But like like Pepper will like do something horrible, and then instead of teaching kids a valuable lesson about like being good children and apologizing for their mistakes, Pepper will never apologize, and then Daddy Pig will be like, I got chocolate ice cream.
And I think what it is, because I once pointed out that they all speak really annoyingly in kids shows, like a little kid. And I was like, why do they all speak like a little kid? Surely that's not a good lesson to teach. And my stepmom said like, oh, no, actually, it's the basis of research that if they have characters in kid shows speak like little kids realise that they're doing that and they correct their speech. So I think maybe what Peppa Pig is they think if we make her act like a bitch, then kids
maybe
kids are going to realise that they're being really annoying and they're going to fix it.
I mean, also, a lot of kids when they watch shows, because they, as an interesting side effect, I have a story about this. As an interesting side effect of like all the characters talking like little baby children,
baby children.
They expect the characters to actually be like their age as well. So like a 4-year-old watching the Tweenies will think that the Tweenies is all of the Tweenies are like little children, like are played by little children like their height. One time at a birthday party for some young kid that my family went to, my like parents went to, because I think they were friends of the person's parents. There was someone in like a Tweenies suit. In fact, it might be my brother's party. I'm not sure. Point is, there was a party. And there's a man in a Tweenie suit, and the kids, when they watched the show, they thought the Tweenies were like their height and they're like their size. Of course, the Tweenies are like actually like the suits are like 6 feet tall and like terrifying. So the Tweenie walks out and everyone just starts crying and screaming.
There's another kid show. I think it's like Maisie Mouse. So she's got like a mouse. And I think that speaks a bit like a kid as well. And one time I was just like sitting in the living room of my dad's house with my siblings, my older ones. And I'm not sure who said it, but one of us was like, what would you do if right now the door opened and Maisie Mouse walked in?
That's such a classic,
just
like,
stood
nothing
there, like
conversation.
6 feet tall. And I was like, I would be fucking terrified. If it just came in and stood there, you'd be like, what the
They're so
fuck?
like innately threatening. Like if there was a kids like TV show where they just didn't talk and they just kind of like looked at you, you'd be so scared because they are scary.
Imagine now we're in the dark. If that door
there's a door behind us.
The handle slowly turned. It opened, and when it opened, like a 6'6" Maisie Mouse was standing.
I think I would actually dive out the window. So just for the layout of the room, there's
just how far down is it? Is it like
we're like a floor up.
You could survive that.
If you land on one of the cars, you'd definitely have a higher chance of surviving.
There's a bush which you can maybe get to the bush.
I would just drop on the car.
The bush is right next to a brick wall though, so there's a dodgy one.
But let's just get on the layout of the room. So it's like
there's really not much room to escape from Maisie.
There's like probably like half a metre between us and the wall in front of us, and then on the wall in front of us there's a big window that we could dive out of, and then 2 meters behind us there's the terrifying ominous door with like a rusted brass handle. I don't even know if brass can rust, but it's like still dirty and like black.
Bit racist.
What? And so if I saw Maisie coming at me from, or just even if she just opened the door and just stood there menacingly, I would dive out that window immediately.
It's the way to go.
Actually, I don't think immediately. I think the shock would set in. I'd be like, no, Maisie, no! And then maybe I would like freak out and dive out the window.
I don't know if Maisie just lifted the hand up and just this big knife here. Just gives the glare to the knife and the glare to you. That's a definite window. That is. Imagine now if the wardrobe started to open.
Oh yeah, there's a wardrobe to our
came out of the wardrobe.
We made a joke about this being a guest episode, despite the fact there's no guests here.
Sam was like, "Should we do a guest episode next week?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he was like, "Should we do a guest episode this week?" Farron walked out the wardrobe.
You're right in there, buddy.
I wouldn't be that scared. I would.
If Farron was standing there,
I would just assume that it was a long set-up joke.
He was the first person I invited on the podcast, and he turned me down.
Has he turned down permanently?
I don't know. He turned down for the first one.
That would be awesome.
Dylan as well
was on the podcast.
Dylan as well. He was my second person, and he turned me down.
He was your secondary.
Yeah, he was. And then Jamie was like, "Hey, I want to go on the podcast." And I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even think of that." And so then Jamie was on the podcast.
You're like, oh my god, I didn't even think of that. And then at the moment he turns his back, you're like, oh, Jamie's on the podcast.
No, I did not.
I remember that.
He watches these religiously. You can't say such.
You said, I don't want Jamie to come on the podcast.
No, I didn't. Stop saying it like it's a true thing.
He's going to talk about Nirvana.
I did say that. No, we were going through like who we wanted on, and I wanted Jamie on, and I was like, I want Jamie on, but he's going to talk about Nirvana. And Jamie, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't care about the song Beans. And I don't think anyone does. I'm so sorry.
That's a good transition onto our next topic, Nirvana. Everyone,
But
what's
actually,
your favourite Nirvana
Harry,
song?
you
Comment below.
gotta take back what you said about what you lied about me saying about Jamie, because that was not true. Except
You
for the
said that
Nirvana
I
thing.
went to France so I could get a French girlfriend, and you said it in serious.
but the difference is that's not targeting someone untruthfully. You saying that makes me look like a
it kind
bad
of is.
person. Yeah, but none of your French girlfriends watch this, whereas Jamie.
Well, there's always Emma.
That's another person you can't have on. Not that we ever would. She's French. No, I'm kidding.
Don't insult the French. Many French people are very dear to me. Many girls specifically. But don't tell Emma about the others.
Do you like Daisy's cousin? It's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question.
It's
a yes or no question.
Oh yes, she's one of many. she's part of the collection.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
I'm so fucked. And not unusually like by the French girls.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Jamie. I'm so sorry, population of France.
Let's
talk about your
sorry,
new...
Emma. I'm
She
sorry,
doesn't watch
Daisy.
this. Daisy doesn't watch this either.
I'm sorry, Daisy's relatives.
They don't.
You know.
Yeah, all those Daisy's relatives that famously watch the podcast.
Well, you know, I send them a link.
Let's just talk about your new phone.
My new phone, yeah. Jazz's brother, younger brother, he heard us talk. Heard you complaining about my
You're
phone.
having a bit of trouble talking there.
Do you want to fuck off? I'm in shock after the last segment. My old phone, not only was it was like an iPhone 4S, I think.
Yeah.
So outdated by most people's standards.
And it had a battery life of 30 minutes.
I-
It charged very
I
quickly.
even
but
saw
also
an
drained very
Instagram
quickly.
post where a taser but looked like an old iPhone, and it was like, no, this isn't an old as fuck phone, it's a taser. And I was like, well, that's offensive. That looks exactly like my phone. But yeah, no, you were complaining about the charge because it's. When I say, it's got terrible charge, people were like, oh, I know, I've got an iPhone too, and it's exactly like that. And it's like, no, you don't understand. The battery is fucked.
You could watch it drain in front of you, and it would still run out at like 20%.
Playing a song drained it about 3 or 4% per song. So that just explains what that's like. So yeah, Jazz's brother overheard me and gave me his old iPhone, which is like iPhone 5C. I
So
think,
you're slowly
with
upgrading.
loads of casing, like military style.
It's got like a
charger,
plastic case and then a rubber case that like attaches to
it's
the
got a
plastic
battery
case.
that isn't fucked, and it's incredible. And I'm just so
Unlike
happy
you
to
with
have
the
it.
French girls.
Very much so. I set the background to it. I wanted the Angles cover with the Strokes album Angles.
I was wondering if that's like a default background or something.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool album cover, I think.
It's just like shapes.
Well, it's kind of like one of those. It's like the shape which is like a stereo, which like infinitely loops round. So kind of one of those impossible shapes in front of like a bright yellow background, and then like a kind of chessboard floor. I looked up like Angles, like phone background, and there was one specifically made to like fit a phone size, where it's got like that at the bottom and it's like kind of yellow at the top. And it's perfect as well, because when I turn on my phone from standby, it's got the kind of the cool shape, a little bit of yellow space, and then like the time, and it's just so beautifully arranged. I just want like, you know, people in college just to see that and just go, oh, he's cool.
Oh, I want to be his friend.
Oh, I want to be his. I want to be his friend. Do I want to be his friend? Or maybe something more.
Oh, hello, nice to meet you. Please be my best friend. I saw your phone background.
And I'm gonna have to say, sorry, you know, I've just got too many French girls.
Can we drop the French girls? I know we've got 2 minutes left. Well, 1.5 minutes left, but come on.
Well, you know.
You've dropped a couple French girls.
What does that mean? I have the ability to drop them mainly because I'm so good at picking them up.
I always wondered why you're spending so long in France.
A week. It was enough time for me.
Long by your standards.
That's what they said.
Oh god. Okay, we've got 57 seconds.
Have we got any other?
Can we just talk about?
We've worked through all of these.
Yeah,
amazingly.
this is the first time we've ever used every single topic. I'm quite impressed. Let's just talk about like something nice and pure for the last 45 seconds, like Jesus. And how he was clinically insane.
Yeah.
No, let's not even get started.
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. I have a Bob Ross bobblehead. I've already
And you
mentioned
kind of
this.
slightly broke the bobblehead.
But now it's more bobbly, so.
So really, have you improved
really,
it?
I've improved.
It is bobbly as hell.
It
Looks
was like
he's got some kind of very stretchy neck.
It was like barely bobbly at all, and now it's super bobbly. Oh,
no! I tried to flick the head to bobble it, and instead it just knocked over Bob Ross.
Let's just have a Bob Ross quote, just to.
You have to have dark in order to show light. It's just like in life.
Oh, that was.
Didn't last very long. If you keep spamming the button, it does sound like a kind
It
of
sounds like
ghost
satanic
noise
whispering.
from BuzzFeed Unsolved.
You know me. I think there ought to be a big old tree right about there.
Believe when I say I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.